is not the same jacket I was wearing yesterday. What are you talking about? I am very... yeah, okay. I don't have an argument for that. So I just realized that I'm doing Vlogmas, but I'm not actually planning to do any vlogs. It's just kind of like me sitting here talking to a camera. So I kind of decided to name this series Vlogless Vlogmas. I don't know. That's not cheesy, but I'm doing it anyway. I like cheesy things. This is Vlogless Vlogmas number 2? Number 2. Yeah. Oh, filming is hard. I have a headache, guys, so if I'm kind of out of it, that's why. I'm blaming it on the headache. Talking is hard. So I've recently become very, very, very obsessed with the Myers Briggs personality test. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I'll include a couple of nice little links in the description so you can find out more about it. There's so many amazing videos that already do that, and I don't want to waste video time and make you sit through that if you already know. If you don't already know, then you can just go to one of the links that I'll link. So today's video is going to be about INFPs, which is one of the results that you can get from the test. I am an INFP, so I feel fairly qualified to talk about them. Just a little disclaimer though, this is like none of these things that I will say will specifically apply to all of the INFPs. I'm trying to make it like vague and broad so that most INFPs can relate, but some people just won't relate, and that's okay. I'm not trying to like be stereotypical here or anything. I know these things apply to me, and I could totally see them applying to a lot of other INFPs. So if these apply to you, awesome. If they don't, I'm sorry. Quick overview of INFPs. So the first letter is I, which is, the first letter is an introvert. First letter is I, which means introverted. Most people know the meaning of the word introverted, so I'm not going to go into that, but basically INFPs are introverted. The second letter is N, and that stands for intuitive, and basically that means that we prefer abstract and like big ideas over little details. We're not as likely to care if the little strings in the hoodies, if those are uneven, we probably won't care as much about that as we will if the hoodie is not aesthetically pleasing as a whole. That's kind of a bad example because I do kind of care about the hoodie strings, and I know a lot of people that do. It's a metaphor. The third letter is feeling, and it's feeling over thinking. So we tend to make decisions with like our heart instead of our head, which isn't always the best idea, but we do it anyway. And the last letter is perceiving over judging. We prefer to not have things planned out. We like to improvise and come up with things as we go and be like, oh, cool like that. Part 2 is how to like make us super happy. I'm spending so much time saying this stuff, like, I don't understand why. So the first thing that you can do, like the first little thing that will make us really happy, is taking initiative in social situations. I used to be like super anxious about social situations and like talking to people, and so like I would go to places and like I wouldn't talk to a single person the entire night unless like the entire time I was there, unless they came up to me and initiated the conversation. I've gotten a little bit better about that. Like I can usually pull myself out of my shell and go talk to people now. As a general rule, I still prefer it when other people initiate the conversation. So if you know an INFP, we would probably like it if you did that. I have one thing and I ran out of things. Another thing that makes us happy, and this isn't like something you can necessarily do, it's just like something that we do and it makes us happy because we do it, is when we feel like we see a side of people that nobody else sees. There's just like, it doesn't even have to be something that they told us. Like, there can just be like an aspect of their personality that we see and we don't feel like anybody else sees. Like, if they're really strict, we might see the fun-loving side of them. A lot of the times, because a problem that INFPs tend to have is like idolizing people and like forgetting that they have flaws. So sometimes we just completely make those up, but when we're right, it can be really satisfying. We also appreciate like really artsy stuff. A lot of us are very happy if we see something like super aesthetic. We also really like to write, so people who actually like ask us about our writing and care about our writing and like ask to read our writing. There's a fine line between pressuring us so much that we get annoyed with you and pressuring us enough that we feel like you actually want to read what we've written. If we feel like you actually care about our writing or like something else that we enjoy doing, if it's not an INFP who particularly enjoys writing, like our art or we're very creative people, so there's probably something creative that we do that we will be very happy if you appreciate. The third part of this video is things that you can do that annoy us. And that, I know personally I don't get annoyed easily at all, but there are like 2 things in this world that annoy me beyond all, I don't even know the word. I get so annoyed when people do these things. And one of them is kind of just specific to me, I think, but I'll put it in here anyway in case other INFPs feel like this. But the first one is that I get really annoyed when people are like know-it-alls and they won't let themselves be corrected. That's kind of a problem because I do that too. I can act like I know everything. I really can. It's a problem. They won't like debate it. Their version of reality is just fact, and they won't let anybody else try to alter that fact. That drives me nuts. And then the one that I feel like a lot more INFPs do get annoyed at, if somebody tries to like alter our morals or something. Our morals are really important to us, and as long as you're like in your own little bubble, we probably won't care what you do. We'll care, but not enough that it'll annoy us. We'll probably just be like, oh, they're making bad life decisions again or something. But if what you do somehow manages to affect us and mess with our morals or what we're trying to get done, then we get really frustrated, because that's really frustrating. To me, at least. I don't know if that's a all INFP thing, but I know it's slightly more INFP than the last one. But as long as you're not affecting me, for the most part, I'm okay with life as a general rule. Like, I get really upset when people that I like respect or people who are in authority tell me that I shouldn't be doing something. It's not like an upset because like, oh, how dare you tell me that I shouldn't do that. It's like an, oh no, I should have known better, they hate me, like, they'll never appreciate me again, like, what have I done? I'm so sorry. And there are even, like, it's not just, like, if somebody's yelling at you not to do something and you feel bad. Like, there are times that, like, there are adults I know that are great about, like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, and, like, they're super nice about it and everything, but I still feel, like, insanely guilty because I should have known better. That also leads me to be really quiet around adults sometimes. Like, I'm okay with kids and I'm okay with adults, but like there's this in-between time, like if I'm having a meal at a friend's house or something, I'm usually like totally silent. I don't want to seem like I'm being too goofy and annoy the parents, and I don't want to seem like I'm being too formal and annoy the kid, and so I just like sit there silently and eat food, and then like I try to be polite and be like, oh, thank you, and then I leave silently. The fourth part is things that you can do to make us feel loved or unloved. You can take them either way. Don't do the things that make us feel unloved, because that's bad. One of the things that people do that makes me feel really loved is like when they care about something I care about. I feel like that's a pretty like general thing for all people, but if people are interested in my interests or like hobbies, even though they don't actually care about them and they listen to me talk about them, that's really sweet. I love it when people do that, because I can talk a lot about a lot of stuff. Basically just people listening to me makes me happy. Another thing is like when people reference something you said or something they know about you in a conversation. Because the thing is, something that makes us feel really unloved is being forgotten, and again, I feel like that's a pretty general rule for all people, but it's like, it's a very specific tendency to INFPs because we tend to be very quiet and somewhat insignificant if you don't know us really well, and so like, we have the tendency to be forgotten sometimes, and it's like not intentional by anybody, I don't think, but it's just like, people forget that we exist. So like acknowledging our existence is super awesome. There's this one conversation I had with somebody. We were at some place that was serving chicken, and somebody was obsessing about how much they love fried chicken, and somebody else is like, oh, now we have like 3 people who love chicken, and I'm like, wait, her, and then the other person, who's the third person? And they look at me and they're like, you, and I'm like, oh, I do love chickens, don't I? But like not fried chicken, live chickens. But that made me feel really happy, and it was just a great moment because I'm like, oh my goodness, like somebody actually remembered that I like chickens, that I exist. It was great. So part number 5 is the gift buying guide, because it's like Christmas time and I know a lot of you have probably bought your gifts already, but if you know somebody who's an INFP, I thought I'd give you guys some suggestions just in case you want them. So I'm trying to think. Books would be an amazing gift. Usually you can find a book that we don't own that will like satisfy our taste in books, but if you can't come up with something like that and you don't know us that well to know like what our taste in books is, I would also definitely recommend getting one of your favorite books and then like leaving a little note with it explaining like why you like it and that it's your favorite book and whatever. And even if we don't particularly care for the book, we'll probably enjoy reading it because we love getting to know people, and so it'll just like, it'll make us really happy to like kind of see inside how you think and like why you enjoyed the book so much and try and like psychoanalyze you. We enjoy doing that. Or at least I do. A lot of this stuff I'm like trying to make general statements and I'm like, oh wait, maybe that's just me. Another thing that you can get us is like plants that don't require much care. Like, the little succulents that have been showing up, like, everywhere on social media. They are so pretty. Another really good gift is, like, blank journals. We may or may not ever end up using them or use more than, like, 4 pages of them, but we will very much appreciate the thought. And I love my blank journals. Like, even though I don't have anything in them and I never use them, like, they're just pretty to look at and they make me feel so happy that, like, I could start writing something in here. This is probably not going to be a very well organized video. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying. I'm really trying. So I'm thinking that for one of my Vlogless, Vlogmas videos, I'm going to do a Q&A. So if you have any like questions that you would want to ask me, leave them down below in the comments, and I will try and answer your questions in one of the videos. So definitely do that. The other thing that you should totally do is I will link the test, the Myers Briggs test, down below in the description box thingy, and you can take that. Yeah, tell me what your 5-letter result is in the comments, because that's, I don't know, I really love this test, so you should definitely take it and tell me what your score is. Or, even better, if I know you, you should have me guess it, because I've typed a lot of the people that I know, so I might be able to guess your personality type. We'll see. I don't know.